On today's Minute Apes, Todd, you're looking kind of rough this morning. Did you have a late night? Have you thought about changing up your mattress? Today's Minute Apes, sponsored by sleepwell.com, your best selection of traditional two-sided mattresses.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies 1 minute at a time. I'm Todd. Kicking me in the I'm sleepy testicles, that was Richard. And that would be Sean across the way, who has his little microphone down today a little bit, so he kind of looks like a Time Life operator, whether he knows it or not.
This.
Yeah, your headphones.
It's like, what? This microphone I'm talking to? All right.
And so I told the guys this morning that I didn't get home till 1. I went over to Fort Worth to see a band. So how long ago did you come up with the idea that you were going to use my
The minute you tried to use that as an excuse about how long it took this morning.
The minute I tried to use an excuse as the guy that has told me before I didn't sleep, and I tried to be gracious to you. Thanks so much. So otherwise, how are we this morning?
Chipper.
I mean, we're knocking out another week's worth of minutes on this garbage fire, so yeah.
It's, as I go back and listen to them and post them, I don't always listen to every minute fully. I will check and see if there are audio issues. But as I listen, I realize that we are doing yeoman's work to actually fight through this damn thing.
So, my husband Chris has actually started listening to the podcast. You lured him in by the Spouses podcast. So now he's listened to the first 5 minutes of this film, and he's like, you guys really don't like this film. And I said, we actually, when we're being critical about these minutes, it comes across negative for almost all the films we watch. Because, no, you guys really don't like this movie.
Yeah, we started off with a basis of hatred for this movie, and it's only gotten deeper.
I think that's the truth. I think that with this one, there was, outside of Richard, who kind of had a little bit of a...
Yeah.
I don't even want to say rose-colored glasses. It was just that your memory had been, I enjoyed that film when I saw it. But as you
Your memories are wrong.
As you watch this film, it's very easy to go, oh my God. And I think that the other films, were very critical to Richard's point. But there's a love for them. And I this week I've been trying to find different Facebook groups that we can promote this to, because there's too much of the business side of me that thinks we need to grow our listenership, even though it's pretty solid. Let's get in front of some other people. And I thought, okay, I'm going to put the Bobby Porter episode out there as a, hey, in case you're an Apes fan, we've interviewed Bobby Porter. You can listen. I also worry they're going to come back and go, damn, you guys hate this movie. Yeah, I kind of do. But with that, happy Monday.
Hey, we never got the promo code for our mattresses at the beginning. If we're going to get
he's too busy drinking a White Claw now on a Sunday, and a very dreary, ugly Sunday morning here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
I'm having strawberry.
Is that it? Is
yes.
I'm having coffee. Mine, never strawberry.
I'm having nature's own water.
Wow. That sounds like urine.
As a weird aside,
Coach for Coors.
Do you like strawberries actually eating them?
Love strawberries.
I can't. The acid in them almost burns my mouth.
Oh,
and it's
like an allergy. Some people break out from strawberries.
There is. My doctor told me, he said that's a bit of a food allergy. The fact that it gets in there, it gets to the back of my mouth, and it's like horrifically painful.
Like, can you eat strawberry like jam or just raw strawberries?
Yes, raw strawberries. There's something about the skin has some acidic nature when it breaks down. I mean, if I have one, maybe I get away with it. If I have two, it is.
Yeah, no, that's the sense when you bite into a raw strawberry for sure. When it's kind of a very like you said, like not a burning, not on fire.
You
but
make it sound so dirty. You biting into a raw strawberry.
I don't know. Minute 4, I think this one gets kind of dirty, but we'll talk about that when I get.
So is this minute like a raw strawberry?
What?
I think
is it? Okay. Since Richard is on top of that minute, Sean, tell us what's going on with this minute.
We're going to start minute 41 with a jungle of O-E-O-E-O. And ends with Davidson bursting in on a child's bedroom.
All right, here it comes. Minute 41. Tim Burton and Marky Mark do Planet of the Apes.
As a minute 41, we have an Oberon's worth of apes and humans, 2 displaced pods worth of humans and apes, wild humans, Ape City minus 2 gorillas, and humans on the loose.
All right, so visually we get Lisa Marie jigging around in her monkey love. We jump through Davidson and his cohorts running through their bedroom, which is just so absolutely entirely convenient. The 2 lovers jump to a chandelier. Yes, they have chandeliers in this world. We see the humans run through the streets. We get the old man taking his wig and his dentures off. Again, it is a human convenience that is there. We see the humans run through the room. Paul Giamatti is sniffing his pits, takes some rose petals, and of course they fall the wrong way. Once again, it is how many times can we find a visually interesting or lackingly interesting way to show that the apes hang upside down, because he is upside down. We see the little girl ape reach through to the human who is crying with very glycerin-induced tears, and she jumps in bed as Leo begins to run into the room. All right, so monkey love. There's no other place to start with, and Richard, I'm going to be burned into my memory of you across the table going,
making that movement.
Uh-huh.
I have to say that, breaking these 2 moments up, breaking the last minute up where she comes in the room seductively and kind of twirls around, and the movement of her standing on the bed and moving her arms around, made it not as weird as watching it connected together as 2 minutes in the movie theater. We're like, what the fuck is going on? This is weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's still odd, but at least there was a nice, couple-week break between the last moment and this moment, so they didn't feel quite so weird.
So do you think Tim Burton told her to do that, or do you think she came up with that on her own?
Maybe, I always wonder about that place where a director and an actor come to, because you read a script. What is the script? How does it describe that moment? Do you know offhand?
Nada was fast asleep. Nada was in bed. We've named the characters already, right?
Yes.
Okay. Nada was in bed. Nova comes out of the bathroom in a sexy short robe, slinks into bed. Honey, I'm feeling frisky. Nada snores, is fast asleep. She growls and snuggles up to him as Leo and the others explode into the room. Nova lets out a howl. She jumps to the ceiling. A moment later, Nada does the same.
He was sleeping it off, and she was horny.
So that's where scripts are. It's fascinating, because it's supposed to be a blueprint, right? What does that director sit down and say? What do you think is a very ape-like thing? And does it come on the set, or have they rehearsed that weeks before? Who knows what it is? But I don't think she's wrong in choosing it. It's just very bizarre to impose sexuality in this way, in a human way, yet with
and also because if you think about it, it's cross species.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
But being the only character named from a classic character as Nova, as she is, you would have expected her to be somewhat sexualized in this film a little bit more.
Maybe so, yes.
Maybe that's where the thought came from, and she had the idea.
Have they said her name is Nova?
No, they
I don't think so.
No, they haven't. So that's why I didn't think so. Everybody else they
We've named when you asked that. We've named other characters. That's why I answered that way.
I put people's names as we get them, and no, we do know NATO's name. We know, or Senator Nato, however you say it. But no, we have not been given her name.
I don't think she gets named in this film.
Well,
I don't think she does either, as I recall.
Wasn't this one of her last moments? Like, do we see her again?
Well, I mean, as far as I remember, she is not vital to the story.
I mean, she's in the final part on Yavin Forward. They did a celebration. They get the medals.
I think that...
Does she get a medal, or is she the one that just cheers at everybody?
Cute. I'm looking at the visuality of the film, and it took I was maybe about 15 seconds behind you. Cute.
She goes, and everybody cheers after
exactly
that.
Right. Yeah.
Cute. So,
well, okay. So I do not like how weightless they are when they jump up in the air. It really feels like wire work, because
it does.
You don't feel the heaviness of them jumping.
When you see Nato lying in bed, I mean, he's
a big boy.
He's a gigantic ape. Let's talk about the 400-pound gorilla in the room.
Right.
And then he just leaps up to the ceiling like.
But yeah, I mean, like if you look at the way he leaps, he goes straight up, but his feet go backwards, so it's like it doesn't make sense. You can tell like where the rope is pulling him up on. You can see where his pivot point is because if you would have jumped, like you've done box jumps and stuff like that, when you jump, your feet don't go backwards while you have a pivot point in the middle.
Gravity doesn't do that to you. Yeah, exactly.
So it just looks wrong when they jump up
I also look at that shot when it goes to the wide shot, the humans running through the room and they begin to jump. Why do we have to have them both jump? Why can't because he's big and fat, cower? You know,
or roll under the bed or something.
You watch a group of apes in any kind of situation. You know, there were situations where I would take my kid to a zoo years and years ago, and you watch them, and they don't necessarily behave in a choreographed unison.
Yeah, they're not all doing the same thing.
They splinter. They might do it, and I think that'd be more visually interesting. And I think getting back to what Chris said, that we hate this film. I am so surprised by the lack of originality of thought from a Tim Burton film, and I think that's what keeps hitting me over and over. Is that this just is flat.
Can we replay this entire minute with the Scooby-Doo running theme?
Oh, you stole it out of my. I was literally about to say this.
Door to door.
There's no doors, no security. Because they just run through a bedroom, out into the city, back through another bedroom, out into the city, into somebody's cage.
And
room.
Conveniently, the bedrooms and situations of people characters we've met, not new situations.
Although not Paul Giamatti in this minute. It's weird that we showed him, taking care of himself, but he was not part of the action yet.
So the flow is Nato and Nova. Then we have Old Ape, who I don't know that we've seen before. I don't know why we're not using an ape we've seen before.
Yeah, at first I thought that was supposed to be our Senator David Warner. Because he looks very similar.
He does.
But makeup does.
And it just described him as an old ape. From Old Ape we go to Limbo, Paul Giamatti's character. Now that scene of him hanging upside down actually took place before the chase was started.
And that's going to happen in that you're going to look and think,
but we're going to need him in a few minutes. In the next minute, I think, is where it's at. Then we go to the little girl that had Thade's niece. What was weird to me, to Sean's point, is they run through. From my perspective, they just encountered the gang of apes outside. Mm-hmm. They're now running through the city apartment complexes, if you will, who don't have locks or doors. We go through Nada Nova. The very next shot, however, is them running through the streets as if they're trying to exit the city.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they're back inside
into another bedroom.
House. That was a very weird
Also,
cut.
If you're trying to exit a city, why would you go inside at all?
Yeah, I mean,
because you're alerting a presence at that point, right?
I can only imagine, obviously, this is not New York or something like that, but if I'm running through your neighborhood to try to get out of the city, why would I run through your house? I would run through your backyard. I'd jump over your fence, but why would I go through your house to try to get out of the city?
I mean, it's a little weird that me and my sexy wife and my overweight husband are about to have this gigantic orgy fest with each other, and there's no windows or doors or locks or anything.
Hey, maybe they like people to walk.
Anybody can walk in.
These are apes. I mean, don't put your human values on them.
So I had a weird moment that I wasn't sure how to bring this in, but since Sean said this about going through places, on my morning walk yesterday, I'm walking down. We have a park down here not far from the house, and I always walk through it. There's a big pond. I come around it, come back, right? I go by this house, and I literally had Planet of the Apes play out for me as Planet of the Squirrels, and I'm not kidding you. I walk, and I'm going to this house, and suddenly there's one squirrel, two, and then a gaggle of squirrels. I'm not kidding you. It was like 7 squirrels running around this. I was like, what the living fuck is this? I go 5 feet more. There's 3 more. I go into the park, and I see 5 more. It was like squirrels just taking over the earth. But never once did they do anything where they wanted me to see them. It was constantly the minute they'd see me scampering away. This, I don't care how brilliant Leo is at training apes to go into nebulas and whatnot. I don't care what ape society you live from. Look at the behavior of animals. They are animals. We are animals. We would not want to be seen. And that's why this scene to me just completely...
Bursting through
I'm watching squirrels yesterday. This was on my mind. I'm like, what
trying
the
to
living
stay on the
fuck?
back of trees. From
Yeah.
That's
also how you create drama, though, right? Is that what is the throughput of this scene? They want to escape. They don't want to be detected. Well, they're escaping, kind of, but they want to be detected. It's like they're walking through with a pair of cymbals, banging them in their hands.
So the final moment is they happen to run through the house of the girl that has the child.
Yeah.
Right? Is that why we had the other two scenes prior to get us to the point that we understand that they're running through houses?
Maybe so.
They just needed a reason why they would run into this girl's house by running into other houses?
But couldn't you tell that same story? They're running through the streets, and perhaps... I can't think of her name.
Thade's niece?
No, Helena. And she's in this group running, right?
All right, no, she's not there yet.
Okay.
She's about to come.
Well, okay. What if you could have Estella Warren is in there? Maybe she knew who the niece was and where she lived, because they all seem to kind of know it.
Yeah.
And she could stop and go, hang on, and go, I need to rescue him. That's another way to tell that very same story without this silly contrived idea.
But yeah, like
or have them run in the street and see them in a balcony and
That's
have
exactly,
to stop and run back down.
And that creates drama and tension.
This is one of those things that you only see in a movie, because in an escape scene in a New York apartment building, you would see Jackie Chan running down the fire escape, through somebody's kitchen window, down the hallway, out the window, back through somebody's house. But in real life, everybody's doors are closed and locked. Everybody's windows are locked. You're not going to run through anybody's house ever. You're going to get to the fire escape and go down the entire building, or you're going to go to the hallway and the stairwells in the building. You're not running through anybody's house.
The old ape putting his
teeth
toupee and teeth away was a little contrived. I mean,
a little.
Okay, very contrived. I mean, the rest of it I can kind of forgive on some level.
Don't you get it? They're just like us, but they're apes.
I guess
it's a madhouse.
I guess it was a little.
I could
forced.
I could buy it if it was one element, but the two, the wig and the teeth, is too much.
And
if
it's
he
not a
took a
character
wig
we
off
know.
and put it aside, okay, cool, I get it. Or if he just took teeth out, I get it. I don't need this double whammy.
You're just waiting for Howard the Duck, and then they pull out a Playboy that's all monkeys, and he looks at the centerfold. And
I'd forget. I think I saw Howard the Duck once. I barely remembered that.
It had duck.
Lucy is.
It had
just
duck
dying
boobies
to get
in
out
it.
of here.
Is that what she wants? She was out of the room.
I think she. What I honestly think is it's 8:30, and she's going, Daddy, I need to go outside, and where's my treat? So as soon as we finish this episode, I'm going to go take care of that.
Okay. She's like, I'm done with this minute, guys.
This film again was created and written almost by committee, numerous drafts. We went through that it's right before a writer's strike. They're rushing to get it shot for different legal reasons so they can go ahead and work. It feels that way to me, as though this is sort of taken from one script and put to another, and just this thing, and that's cute. This would be fun. We run from these things without that logical thought of reading a draft and going, let's nitpick this to death and find out, does that make sense? And somebody coming and going, why would they run through the houses? This seems like a haphazard way to tell a story, a very lazy way.
It's in the script, but it's just not poorly. It's just poorly done. Like, is it supposed to be funny? Is it supposed to be serious? Is it supposed to be action? I can't.
Right. Well, and I as much as I love what Lucy.
I know.
Like,
Yeah, she's scratching her ears now. I warned the guys her allergies are.
That's
one
good
of
shit.
It's one of the lovely things of having allergies myself. That actually tells me in about 2 days I'm going to get hit by allergies. She is like my
she's your barometer,
yes,
your leading indicator.
But one of the things that bugs me also in this moment is this turn of the camera that we get as Paul Giamatti's character rubs rose petals on,
because he stinks.
Because, well, first off, why again? This is another moment of imposing, and I mean imposing in a 1 minute section. They are just like us. They are human, stand-ins effectively, and I don't need it. And so when the camera turns, I'm like, yes, I get it. But they're hanging upside down. But then when you get to the Matt Reeves films, it's so effortless.
I'm about to say
that it's human.
He's not a bat. They don't just hang upside down and blood doesn't go to the. I mean, they don't do that for pleasure. I mean, they hang upside down as they're swinging to somewhere else. They don't just chill upside down. Yeah.
As we record this, it's like everywhere you look on social media right now. Tim Burton's Wednesday, which I've still not watched on Netflix.
I haven't yet either.
The people love it. Mm-hmm. He's apparently tapped into that thing that Tim Burton does very well, where he creates very dark visions into an everyday world. You would think he could take that sensibility and flip it to a simian, to a human world, but it's just It's almost like he got hired the week before and thought, okay, let's do all this shit.
I have watched an episode and a half of the Wednesday show. We can talk about it.
Is it cute?
If you want. It's watchable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So watchable. Let's talk about that. We then get the little cherub-faced little girl with. You can tell this child could not cry. And
could not act. Yeah.
Well, and then also those are glycerin tears. Somebody's gone and dropped those on her face so that they'll show up and read on camera. And I get it. She's a little kid. What little kid probably can cry on command?
For some reason, I mean, just looking at her, I feel like I get a Little House on the Prairie vibes.
I get that.
Maybe it's because she looks like she's wearing a dress from that you'd see on like a Holly Hobby doll or something like that.
The outfit itself is.
Are you going to tell me the designer? Oh, I thought you were going to.
No, it's meant to be baby doll. It's meant to be like a creepy doll dress. However, because of the way that it's shot and the style of the dress, it just looks like a woman's nightgown as opposed to a creepy baby doll. They could have done a little bit more to make it lean into that kind of effect.
I watch it, and this is going to probably be the most objectional. I'd never make sexist or anything comments if I can help it. This is not sexist about a child. This is instead abuse of a child, because Abby will send me, Abby being my daughter, there are numerous little kids that their parents post shit on TikTok and whatnot. She loves them. And I will, it's having raised a child, after you see that cute shit after a while, it's like, okay, stop. She'll send it to me, and I'm like, I'm going to punch that kid in the face. Because it just comes here, and I see this little girl, and all I think about is sending something that Abby go, another kid, I want to whack. Because it's just shitty acting. It's shitty. It's a child. How do you get that child to elicit something? You do something.
But there are good child actors.
There are.
I mean, hell, look at Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
That little boy, just magical.
And you don't see what he's reacting to, but he's reacting. I mean,
in that famous story, in that moment when he sees him, that Spielberg was dressed as a gorilla behind the camera,
took the mask off,
and did that, and he was there, and the little boy was like, that is working to go, how do I communicate to you? Okay, I can be Tim Burton and communicate to Lisa Marie. What are we going to do? Do something similar. Let's play with that. And there's your discussion. But for a child, you can't have that, and you've got to do something magical to them so they either scare the fuck out of them or whatever you need.
Or take something away from them.
Right.
Which is also, it gets into the ethics of, should you have child actors, or especially baby actors that have no comprehension of what they're doing. So if it's crying, it is crying. It is not acting. If it's happy, it is happy. It is not acting.
I want to clarify, by the way, I'd never punch a child in the face. I do want to.
Well, unless they deserve it.
It is literally a code between Abby and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking punch. In fact, I think I sent a text to her not long ago. She sent one of those, and I sent the little baby emoji with a fist emoji, and that's all I sent.
Unless they're being a real dick, and then in which case they deserve it.
Wow.
Wow. So at this moment, Sean, I'm glad you never had children.
There we go. I'm glad I didn't have children.
All right,
that I know of. Hey.
We get the little apey girl going to bed and the humans busting into the room. So we're apparently into the next minute going to continue a little more of the Scooby-Doo escapades.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad our pets can't cry, like physically cry, because when we had Gertie as a puppy, and we put her in her house, and at night she would start whining.
Yeah.
Well, at some point we just can't take it anymore, and we're like, oh, come on, you're going to sleep with us, and she sleeps with us now. I mean, this baby is crying. If you take the baby out and you try to sleep, that baby will murder you because this baby does not want to be here. How do you keep these humans as pets? I do not understand.
Well, see, now we can get into, because I said to the guys, we lost our older dog, Jake, and we're on the precipice of looking at getting another beagle, and my wife found a beagle, and we pursued getting it, and it gets into that talk of how long do you let a pet cry at night, and I am the king of, I'll put some earplugs in, cry your ass to death, and you'll learn to do that. It's the same as, I swear to God, with Abby when she was a little girl. She slept in a bassinet in our room forever. And I finally said, that's it. She needs to learn to sleep in her room. And she would cry. And Shelley's like, you can't do this to me. I said, watch. And I'd go upstairs and, just do it again. I am the king of,
Gotta let, I'm
of course, but Lucy now sleeps in our bed too. So it all ends up the same in the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody?
I'm good.
All right. We're going to put this baby to bed. Get it?
Hey.
All right. With that, everyone have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.